Can you explain what the current situation is for free accommodation in the foundation year?
Yes, in August of last year, the government amended the Medical Act to remove the requirement for foundation year 1 doctors to live on site at the hospitals. And it is true to say that the BMA were consulted about this amendment. However, at no stage in the consultation was it ever even suggested that this would remove the significant part of the salary that the free accommodation was for an F1 doctor. And we've calculated on average the accommodation to be worth about £4,800. And so we've asked the Doctors and Dentists Review Body this year, and they're the group that advise government how much we should be paid, to give us a pay rise of £4,800 to compensate the loss of free accommodation. If they fail to recommend this will be such a significant pay cut of about 20%, and that would be completely unacceptable.
What is the BMA doing about the accommodation issue, and what are the chances are that medical students will have it restored in the future?
I actually think it's highly unlikely it will be restored in the future, because in the world we live in, government and trusts don't want to give away any more money or opportunities than they have to. What we are doing is lobbying the Doctors and Dentists Review Body, who will recommend to government what we should be paid, and asking them for a significant pay rise. The DRB in previous years have recognised the free accommodation as a significant part of the salary, and have used that as a reason for keeping the F1 salary low. And therefore it seems to me reasonable to assume that we can expect a significant pay rise. If we don't get a significant pay rise, we will then take that forward and lobby government over that, because it will be completely and utterly unacceptable.
How has foundation programme recruitment gone this year, and what is the BMA doing to improve the process for next year?
Every applicant from the UK this year who applied got a 2-year foundation programme, has been offered a 2-year foundation programme, and there were fears that that might not be the case because there wouldn't be enough places. And I'm concerned that next year there might not be enough places, and some people will only get offered 1 year of employment. So the first thing we must do about next year is to continue to lobby the government to ensure that there are enough places available for all of us, all of our colleagues. 92% of those that applied ended up in their first choice geographic area, and that's great for those 92%. However, that means that 8% have had to go somewhere else. And there was a particular problem in London, which was heavily oversubscribed, with 2 applicants applying for every place in northwest London, for example. I've heard stories of couples having to move to huge distance, who are going to have to move huge distance away from each other as a result of the process, and it clearly isn't perfect yet. I've also heard stories of people who are going to have to move hundreds of miles away from home for the first time ever. And until that figure is 100% and everyone gets where they want to get, we will continue to work on students' behalf and continue to represent students' views to the UK Foundation Programme Office, who run the process. We're currently running a survey to ask students what they think about the process and how it has gone for them this year. I would urge you to fill that survey in and send it back to us, and then we can represent your views to ensure the process is better and fairer for students next year.
As a medical student, how can I get my views heard within the BMA?
Well, every medical school in the country has a rep on the National Committee, the Medical Students Committee, and every school should also have an intra-school committee chair who feed into the process. So approach these people and tell them what you think, and they can then feed in to me and to the deputy chairman, who can go on to represent the views that we hear at the various meetings. We hold a conference every year. This year it's in Cambridge at the beginning of April, where policy is set and we listen to what students think and have to say. And we run a couple of 2 or 3 surveys during the year, and there's one out at the moment about foundation programme recruitment for final year students. And I would urge you to fill in these surveys and send them back, because that is the best way that we can find out what you out there on the ground think and we can then represent those views at the appropriate meetings and to the appropriate bodies.